Hello, this is Bruce with Webucator. In this video, I'm going to show you a solution Timothy Wiseman came up with that involved dealing with SQL Server lock resource errors. Timothy agreed to let us create this video showing his solution, which is available as an article on his blog at the URL shown here. Now, in Timothy's solution, what we're trying to do is create a giant numbers table, which can be used for a variety of purposes down the road. So the first step is I'm going to go ahead and create this table called Big Tally Table. So I'll execute this query. The table's created. And then in the second query, this is where we'll get the error. We're basically looping through 30 million times, and during the 30 million, during each iteration of the 30 million loop, we're using this row number function to generate a row number that we're then inserting into the table. So we'll have a giant numbers table with 30 million numbers. But what's going to happen when I execute this is ultimately we're going to get into a resource problem with SQL Server, and we're going to get an error message. So I'll go ahead and execute this query. Now this query does take quite a long time for it to come back with the error. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and then restart it once the error has been generated. It took a little while, but now we have our error, and we can see down here it took 8 minutes 36 seconds. Let's do a little zoom in on this. And if I come up here, we can see the error message. So we've got this 1204 error message that SQL is generating, and a little bit of information that it's also giving. It says it cannot obtain a locked resource at this time. And this is mainly due to the lock escalation that SQL is attempting to do, and with these 30 million records, it eventually gets to a point where it can't grab enough memory to create an additional lock. So one potential way around this is to break this up into batches. Let me first go ahead and wipe out my table. So I'll rerun this query and recreate the Big Tally Table. And on this next query, what we're doing is we're breaking it up. We've still got the 30 million rows, but we're breaking it up into batches of 500,000. So we have this max per record variable that we're turning in, and we're then using a while loop to loop through this. And this will effectively create separate batches so that it won't have to create locks, generate locks for the entire 30 million rows all at one time. So we'll go ahead and fire up this query. And again, this will take a little while for it to run, so I'll go ahead and pause and come back when it's completed. So the query is completed without generating an error, and if we zoom in, you can see it took it a lot less time, 3 minutes 35 seconds. And one advantage that we have with this batch process is we're not locking the whole table, so if we were on a production system, other locks could potentially be granted on the same table. Of course, this could drag out the processing time for our original query, so this could be good or could be bad depending on circumstances. The final solution is, instead of doing batches, we lock the entire table at the beginning. So we use this table lock query hint, and this will, again, just like the name implies, grab a lock on the whole table. We'll perform our 30 million inserts, and we'll see if we can get this completed without an error. So I'll go ahead, let me first wipe out that table and recreate it, and then we'll come back here and execute this query. And as before, I'll pause it while it's running and then come back when it's completed. So one big advantage of this solution that we can clearly see is speed. It only took 27 seconds for this query to complete, and it did complete successfully. However, we did grab a lock on the entire table, but overall we would reduce the amount of resources being consumed and therefore not getting an error. So a couple different solutions to a potential problem. Thanks again to Timothy Wiseman for the inspiration for this video. You can find more articles by Timothy on his blog at the address shown here. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it.